Hello and welcome to another episode of Northside Now. This is the podcast where we take you on a tour through all of the ministries and the latest happenings around Northside Church to keep you better connected with your church family. My name is Patrick, and with me as always are my lovely co-hosts, Glenn Miller and Kevin Bryant.
Hello.
Hey. Hello, hello. Yo.
Yo, yo, yo. Sounding like bass.
Yo ho ho, it's a pirate's life for me.
Yo ho ho. Oh. Just got back from the clinic where there was a forever long wait, and they even sent me to another clinic in a smaller town to get a shot for, the steroid shot for the West Tennessee crud.
Oh, I thought you said you were late because you were out drinking cocktails. You were getting a
cocktail shot.
Taking steroids?
Steroids. I'm on the roids, so y'all better watch out.
Glenn's going to come in here.
I might get rage.
He's going to become a home run champion.
Yes.
Mark McGuire, watch out.
This will be my last podcast. I got to go get ready for baseball season now.
Yeah.
So a lot of sickness running around again. So
yep.
I was glad to be able to fly out to Medina and get a shot. So I'm tired of sounding like a frog.
Mm-hmm.
And having a frog in my throat is kind of blah. It kind of reminds me of the depths of Neptune or something like that.
Hey, speaking of Neptune, good segue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well done. Well done. I don't know if you've seen the pictures from the James Webb telescope. For those of you not familiar, James Webb is a fairly new telescope that was launched by NASA, and it's able to see a lot farther than you remember the Hubble Space Telescope. This has more advanced mirrors and things that allow it to see a lot farther off. And so I think we may have mentioned this once or twice, but some of the pictures they've taken seem to be a little bit older than what they're saying the Big Bang is. It's created some kind of controversy sometimes, I guess, but the main benefit is that you see a lot clearer pictures. And so the one recently has been the photos of Neptune, the planet. And I didn't realize this, but this picture shows rings.
Oh, wow.
So we're all familiar with Saturn has rings, but Neptune has rings too. And when you look at it, it looks like it's glowing because of I think it's frozen hydrogen or something, nitrogen maybe on its surface. It reflects a lot. So anyway, it's stuff they haven't seen for about 30 years or so. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then I was thinking about that as we mentioned before. We used to have a space minute or space, whatever what we call it. Artemis, the new program to the moon. They're going to launch their first rocket, hopefully, here in a few days.
I hope so. Been waiting on that thing forever.
Yeah, it's had some trouble, some technical things. Hurricane came through. Well, a couple now, I guess. So it's going to be unmanned, and it's going to go to the moon. I think it's like a 26, 27-day mission. But it's their proof of concept, really, of this new rocket, this new major rocket, which is more powerful than the Saturn V, which took all the Apollo people to the moon.
It's bigger, too, isn't it?
It's huge.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a lot bigger.
It borrows, and it's interesting, it borrows some of the shuttle technology and actually some of the shuttle parts. So like engines and things that were a part of that program are now being reused in some cases.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I'm super excited about it to see that happen. It's going to be a long time coming.
And that's a big deal because that's the one that's going to be taking the astronauts to the moon.
Yep, it's going to be, the plans are to launch, I think it's called Gateway, but it's sort of like a mini space station, but it'll be a jumping off point that will orbit the moon for more in-depth missions to the moon and eventually moon base and some other things like that. So it's, for me, a cool thing to follow.
Yeah, it is cool.
What's upcoming as SpaceX is working on getting to Mars, NASA's working on getting to the moon, and that's a little closer, number one, but
probably a little more achievable, I would say.
Well, we've done it before.
Yeah. But it's been a long time, too.
For sure. Yeah. So it'll be exciting to see what happens.
Well, I was just excited to see NASA's picture of the sun that looks like a smiley face.
Yes, you showed that to us. We ought to post that again.
Yeah. They took a picture of the sun and the solar winds and stuff on there.
No Photoshop, right?
No Photoshop.
Okay.
It just makes it look like a smiley face. And
it looks a little bit like every picture I drew as a kid.
Yeah.
Did you ever draw where you're stuck in that rut of drawing a house with a sun in the corner?
And you do like the little smiley birds that look like the McDonald's.
That's right. That's
little birds in the tree.
Yeah.
That had always had a hole in it where a little squirrel could come out of.
Did your house windows have curtains? You know, the little boop, boop.
I don't think they did at first. They were just, a square with the cross.
Yeah.
And you always had to have a 2-story. And I never lived in a 2-story house, but I always had a 2-story house.
Did you
when
have
I
a
drew
chimney?
it. Yes, always with smoke coming out of it.
But did you have a chimney in your real
no,
house?
not when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And it always had smoke coming out of it, no matter what time of the year it was.
Yeah. The sun's out, the birds are out. It's the trees in full bloom, and
That one
smoke.
single flower in the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting
The stick people lived there.
that we have that commonality between all of us. We all drew that same thing.
I drew it a bunch because
here's the thing.
that's when I peaked in my art ability.
I think I drew that picture too, but I would have done that like 20 years after you.
Oh, it's
like,
crazy. I mean, I don't know why
I
that's
did that last year. Why?
Well, for Valentine's a couple of years ago, I got out some construction paper and actually made Barbie like an old school.
I remember hearing about this. Yeah.
card, and I was like, I think I had more fun doing it than she did receiving it, but it was cool. It's kind of fun to revisit, when you were great, when I was a great artist back then.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I cannot do that now, I don't think.
Well, we get out of practice, and I think we feel like it takes too much time.
Oh, that's sad though.
It can be relaxing if you approach it with the same or the right attitude. But a lot of times it's stressful for some adults because they don't feel they're in a good number one, and that stresses them out. But also, they just kind of feel like it's a waste of time.
Well, I do know that Clay likes to color sometimes and stuff, so I love those little kids coloring books, but those adult coloring books, that's work.
Or the coloring apps. They're similar.
the coloring apps too.
You just do it by number.
But there's those lines. That's a lot.
I think for Elizabeth's birthday or Christmas last year, I bought her a serial killer coloring book. She loves those. Yeah, she loves those like adult coloring books. And I found one that was it was serial killers.
I have a Bob Ross coloring book. She uses colors on Bob Ross paintings.
I didn't even know there was a serial killer.
Oh, you'd be surprised. I found out there's like People of Walmart coloring book.
No way, really?
Yeah, and it's just there's all sorts of stuff out there.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
Well, it's that time of year.
Yeah, I guess.
Black Friday's coming soon, so
Yep.
everybody's going to be getting all crazy about going to Walmart. I'm sure there'll be a video of somebody fighting over a toy somewhere.
Do y'all have any plans on trampling anyone for a PS5 or anything this
No.
year?
No.
Are they even having PS5s still?
They've actually started keeping some of them in stock. They haven't just been immediately selling out because I saw some at the store not too long ago.
Okay.
Yeah, because we talked about this, a few months ago about purposely only sending limited stock out.
Yeah.
Well, here's one thing to ponder, as we're getting closer to the end of the year. It's not right upon us, but it's close. Did you think that the war in Ukraine would still be going on?
Oh, no.
That has just been such a long-tailed thing. And imagine all the people that are suffering over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw something. They're planning on spending the winter without power and heat.
Wow.
And so when you go home and get nice and toasty and warm, just remember there's people out there that don't have that luxury right now.
And they make pushes back to Russia.
Yes.
In fact, they just made another one as we're recording this and put them on their heels, retreating again. And no. I would have thought that this would have been swift and easy and done in a hurry, but it's hard to steal another person's homeland, I think. It's way harder than I think we think modern warfare looks.
Right.
I guess. The reality of it, it's not video game stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we're used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, expecting it to be over quickly. Yeah, and COVID's still around.
Yeah.
I had a cousin who just got it this week.
Yeah. There's COVID and flu and RSV.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's some other viral, something that's it doesn't test positive for anything. So they've even shut some schools down recently because of sickness. So we thought we would be done with that too, didn't we?
Yeah. But there are some good things to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to talk about one of those here in just a little bit.
I'm very excited about this.
We're going to talk about some homemade country ham.
Yeah.
The
fruit compote.
Fruit. What is it? Compote?
I said compote. I don't know exactly
Hot
what
fruit.
it is.
Hot fruit.
Hot fruit.
So many people talk about how that's like their favorite thing. I don't know that I've ever actually eaten it.
Oh, I've had it. It is yummy. Have you not had it, Glenn?
I'll have to try it
I
this
think
year.
I've tried it, but I don't think it made that big of an impression on me. I know I've tried it because I love fruit, but I just don't know.
Oh, we'll ask her about it.
I might have to purposefully give me some hot fruit compote
baked
stuff
fruit
this year. I know I've gotten it. I just don't know if because I will skip the country ham.
Oh, well, the country ham is mostly salt. I will say this.
Yeah.
But I love it. Maybe there's some deficiency in me. I don't know, but I love salt. So
I mean,
I'm like a dog. I'll just.
You were out there licking on some rocks.
I was, man. Sure. I have one of those pink Himalayan salt lamps in my bedroom, and I just lick it a couple of times before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Deer come by and take a couple.
I got a salt lick out in my backyard.
Because that's pretty much what that thing tastes like. I think would be a salt lick.
Oh yeah, you gotta definitely have like a whole glass of water for every bite of country ham.
You do,
but it's my favorite.
Yep.
Well, Miss Nancy and her crew does a wonderful job of putting together this wonderful breakfast, and it's one of the highlights of being a Northsider. So let's invite her on into the room and check out what's going on with Miss Nancy and the Thanksgiving breakfast. All right, we're here in the podcast room with Miss Nancy. Did you find it okay?
I did. I did. But it's the first time I've been in this room.
She had to find the treasure map and follow the the hidden clues to find the secret location.
It's just like an escape room. You have to turn this knob, and
if I ever can't find you, I will come here first.
Well, and I was a little bit worried because the last picture we took with Brian in our last podcast, I thought we might have shown too much of the podcast room.
We might have, yeah.
So I was concerned people might know where it's at now, but I still feel like we're pretty well hidden.
You are.
Well,
nobody's knocking the door down yet. So.
Right. Ms. Nancy Gay is the director of hospitality, or hospitality director. I'm not real sure what's the correct English part of that, but she's in charge of all of our good coffee and mints and orange juice on Sunday mornings, and groups that come in to use the kitchens and to keep us all coordinated with all that. What else do you do, Miss Nancy?
That Sunday morning coffee stands, that's my responsibility. Make sure that those are set up and try to make everybody happy. And the next one that comes into mind is the Wednesday night meals.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wednesday night meals,
that's another big part. And of course, that's growing a little bit. We're probably averaging maybe around 60 or so on Wednesday nights. And, we've been doing that. I can't even tell you how many years, but that is a very rewarding thing to have. And I have great volunteers that help. We have 5 or 6, people on Wednesday nights that help, and we serve, I'd say, I guess all of the time, we serve a hot meal.
Yeah.
And it's very reasonable. We've become known as the best $3 meal in town because that's what we charge, and try to make it worth the $3 for sure.
We probably are back up. I've been looking around. I've been in there a little bit more lately. We probably are back up to like pre-COVID numbers for the Wednesday night meal. Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
And it does. It fluctuates, with the seasons, when it gets warmer and then people have more activities and stuff, then we see the numbers kind of start to drop as summertime comes. But winter, a lot of people don't want to cook, or if it's rain or whatever, they'll come up. We can get a hot meal up there, and so we'll see. I think most that we've ever fed is like right around 80. But that was pre-COVID. So we're creeping back up.
Let's see if we can dazzle our listeners with how many gallons of coffee do we drink on a Sunday morning? Do you know?
Gosh, gallon-wise.
Or what's how much coffee do you make?
What's the metric by which we measure the amount of coffee drunk?
I just know how many crafts I need to make each Sunday.
How many do we
So we make 8 on every Sunday. We have, and again, this is pre-COVID, at one time we were making 12 to 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those big silver things?
But the tall ones, but
they probably hold a couple of gallons.
And you think, so why aren't we drinking as much coffee? But we are seeing more and more people walk in with their Starbucks or their Dunkin' Donuts or whatever.
Well, because there's 433 Starbucks in Jackson.
I'm guilty of that. I can't say I'm not.
Well, and they offer all the different flavors and the different combinations. And if you want the chocolate half calf with skim, all the stuff.
Coffee drinkers are not coffee drinkers of the past, are they?
Caramel macchiatos and all that stuff,
excuse, Yeah, it's an excuse to drink a milkshake for breakfast.
Pretty much it.
It has to be a milkshake if I'm going to drink it. I just can't do the whole coffee thing.
Dunkin' Donuts is like the the brown sugar cinnamon cold foam, the cold brew is.
I knew Patrick would pull that out.
Yes. Oh, that's funny.
And you know what's so funny is I'm in charge of the coffee stands and the volunteers and everything, but I've never drank a cup of coffee in my life.
Oh, really?
I do not like coffee.
Well, I don't like it either.
No.
So you and I are rare.
I didn't know
company
that.
right here.
I've run across a couple people, but
Yeah.
I love the smell of it.
Yeah.
Love to walk into a Starbucks.
Yeah. I'm the
But
same way.
in anything coffee flavored. I mean,
I'm
put
the
a piece of
same
candy in
exact
front of
way.
me that's coffee flavored, I won't touch it.
I'm the same exact way. I've tried to like it. I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
like it. I'm the same exact way. That's funny.
Yeah. So we're definitely in the minority there. But anyway.
Now, you retired a couple of years ago, or a year ago, right? A year ago. And what did you do before you retired?
I worked at a frozen food plant here in the office. I was a production scheduler, and I ordered the ingredients of what we made at that plant and the package materials.
Oh, okay.
So I was working with, suppliers and customer service people and truck lines, and I loved what I did. I was there for a total of 43 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It started out as a Quaker Oats plant back in Jackson when it was built like back in the 70s. And then it ended up, when I left, it was owned by ConAgra.
Okay.
So I've always dealt with food, and then I just move into this part-time, and I'm still in food. But
And they did like frozen fish and stuff, didn't they?
frozen fish, frozen pizza. We used to do the Aunt Jemima pancakes and waffles and French toast. And it's changed some over the years, but so that was my full-time job.
How long have you and Jerry been coming to Northside?
2007, I believe, is when we actually joined.
Yeah.
But we had visited for several years. I'm talking 7, 8, 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Jerry always tells everybody that he didn't want to join because he liked that visitor parking spot, So we were
Very
visitors for, 8 or 9 years. And then we finally threw in the towel. We said, yeah, we'll join.
That sounds exactly right.
quick response there. That's awesome.
But this is definitely our home. We just absolutely love Northside.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we have been teasing now for a while because it is a big deal. We're getting to do the Thanksgiving breakfast this year.
Yeah.
And you are ultimately in charge of that. You have a massive team that you've put together about that. So I'm new to Northside, let's pretend, and I know nothing about a Thanksgiving breakfast.
Okay.
What is that host and all of his lovely co-hosts talking about when they're talking about the Thanksgiving breakfast at Northside?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Yeah, it's just what that is. It's a hot breakfast buffet that we serve to everybody that comes in the doors. And I'll give you a little history. It started back in 1981.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So that's a long time ago. The only time we have not served it was due to COVID. So we have missed the last 2 years. So that's why this year's kind of special, to get it back, because everybody, it just, I think, grew and grew and grew over the years. So I reached out to two of our church members here. Were on the original team, Jim and Linda Stillwell, and then Kara Roberson, her mom, who was Susan Davidson. So it was, the way I understand, Susan and Linda just had the idea and started talking about it. I don't know how many people they had at the very first one, but of course over the years it just grew and grew. So they had a couple people that I don't think go to church here anymore. I don't know these people. Debbie Carpenter, Lynn Hostetler, Debbie Bond, and their husbands, and then Jan and Dickie Arrington were always real
I know some of
instrumental.
those folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they, I think, were on the original team of what started way back when. And two of the ladies, I think it was Susan and Linda, were making homemade biscuits. I mean, I'm sorry to say, I don't do homemade biscuits. We do bake them. We bake them fresh, but so it started out small, but it has grown over the years. And we do. It's a full breakfast. We have eggs and sausage and biscuits and country ham. And
the country ham is my favorite part.
Well, a lot of people will say it's this baked fruit.
Yes.
Compote that we
That's
have.
the traditional thing there.
I think Susan was the one. Was the one that came up with that first. there again, that is a treat. And so many of the members that have been coming here for so long, will say, oh, but the thing I love about the breakfast is that baked fruit, so everybody looks forward to that.
I remember that when we first came to Northside in 86. And of course, that was before the gym existed, before Hope Hall existed, and you'd line up that entryway right in front of the chapel, led right across from the chapel, led into the fellowship hall. Yeah. And so that's where they serve it. And the line would really be lined up. You really had to wait a little bit to get in. It was quite the Sunday. I remember coming back from college one time and not even thinking about it and realizing it was that Sunday. And needless to say, very excited about that.
Yeah.
As a college student.
As a college kid, sure, you got a hot meal.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
Yeah. Well, great. See, I wasn't even here then. So I do remember the old fellowship hall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, it's been going on for that many years. And once you come to it, some people may say, I'm not sure about, that. It is just a great, great time for fellowship, I think. Mm-hmm. And, no matter who you sit down with, if it's you fill up a whole table or you sit down and share the meal with somebody else, it's a great way to meet people or have fellowship with somebody that you normally have never had breakfast with before, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a good time.
We've talked about this before. There are certain events in the life of our church that allow us all to get together. Sometimes the sanctuary crew and the Hope Hall crew, depending on which service you typically go to, whatever, you might not see the other group. I'm always excited when there's an opportunity for all of us to get together. And remember, we're all one big family together. Right. So I'm excited about that too.
That's right. That's very true. So this year, we're going to have breakfast will be served in the gym starting at 8:30 in the morning. And then we're going to have Hope Hall have all the seating, if we can fit everybody in there. If not, we'll fall back over into the gym and have tables set up in there. But we'll start serving at 8:30, and then we're going to have the one joint church service in the sanctuary at 10. So there again, we'll be in Hope Hall having the fellowship and eating breakfast together as one big family, and then we'll all get to worship together, which I'm like Kevin, it's just such a good, warm feeling to have everybody together at one time,
Yeah. So you'll fill your plate in the gym. So come down the corridor. This is not, you don't have to pay anything specific, but there is a donation that is accepted, right?
Yeah, we always, have a basket out. It's just, I've always thought about it like a free will offering, whatever you feel like giving, that'll just go towards covering the cost of the food. So anything's welcome. But we don't charge for the breakfast.
And then we go over and eat in Hope Hall. Then we'll go up to the sanctuary, which is a little bit different for us this year.
It is.
We'll go up to the sanctuary to have the service, which is going to be a special service this year with the children and youth leading.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Having them. I've been a big piece of that. And so helping the sermons get ready and the moments with the adults.
Yeah.
Oh, no, really?
Instead
That's
of moments
coming?
with the children, we're going to have moments with the adults.
That's awesome.
So get ready because
that's awesome.
I saw that for the first time last night, what they've got planned. And oh, wow, that's going to be great.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
So it's going to be a great day. And that's the only things we're doing. No Sunday school, no other services, just breakfast and that service that day.
Yeah.
So.
And it does take, I will say, it takes a lot of volunteers, to pull this breakfast off. And we've always had plenty of volunteers step up. We're probably going to ask for even more this year, but we've got a good group that are willing to help and making everything taste good. And service, we'll have lots of coffee and juice and water and then all the food that goes with it. So we invite everybody to come out.
Well, when you talk about volunteers, what kind of jobs are you looking for people to help with?
Well, we've got several couples that have helped over many years in the kitchen, like actually prepping and, cooking the food. We're going to have a few less senior guys come in and help, kind of shadow some of the guys that have been in the kitchen for a few years, just to see how things are handled. We won't be here forever and doing the same thing year after year. I mean, you can actually come in and help prep. We'll be doing that on Saturday morning and, set up the tables, get everything ready for Sunday morning. And then Sunday, it's setting up the food lines and refilling if necessary. And sometimes some people just may even need help to their tables with their drink and their, so we'll have volunteers to even, help people if they need that. Then there's always a lot of fun with cleanup.
Of course.
So
always need that.
So there's a lot of jobs, but we'll have people, kind of directing traffic of when they get here, to go to the gym and then to go into Hope Hall and and up the hall to the sanctuary.
Yeah.
So all sorts of things. Nothing complicated. So anybody can help. Yeah.
How does doing something like this for your church family, how does that affect your faith journey, Nancy? What does that do to you?
Yeah, it's so rewarding. And I'll tell you, being, I say, rewarded with the hospitality job that I have, I never thought about that as a gift. And it has made me realize, and so many people, have told me, that's your gift. I just, when I was growing up, when I got, first married and for years, I always liked to be in the kitchen. It was just fun to be in the kitchen. I never thought about it as a gift. And as I've matured, I think, and the years have gone by, I've thought, that's God's gift, that He has given me. And I'm just so pleased to be able to use it.
Yeah.
And it was just such a good fit for me. And I think at the time that I got the job, the church was a new job here. And, it's just made me realize how thankful I am, and I have told several other people, sometimes you have those gifts, but you, like me, you don't realize that is a God-given gift, and it has strengthened my faith, and I've just been more willing to do so many things with what I think I can do, being a hospitality person. So
I'm glad you asked that, Glenn, because I was thinking that too. With our kids, we've talked many times that as they're getting older and going to school or graduating high school and then figuring out what in the world is next, for them to think about the things you enjoyed when you were a kid. The things that you could just lose all track of time doing. And not that necessarily that you would play with Legos in your adult life for a job, although
that is a job. Yeah, sure that is a job.
Exactly. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because I wondered as a kid if you were fascinated by food or kitchens, or because you've been in the food service field for 40 plus years, and that's really interesting.
Yeah,
that
it
happens.
is. I did. My mother's mother, my grandmother, lived with us most of my years, and then my mom, both of them. My grandmother was always baking goods, desserts and stuff, cookies and stuff. Yeah. My mom was making the family meals, and I always loved to be, it was just part of our family life. I loved to be in the kitchen. And it was just a natural, thing for that to kind of carry on in my life. And like, I've had no culinary training or anything like that. Like I said, I just enjoyed being in the kitchen. So it was kind of a natural thing for me. And then it's funny too, that in my full-time job that I've retired from now, that I had to coordinate, a lot of things, and you're multitasking and all that stuff with these foods and deliveries and events and stuff. And that kind of carried over into this too. So
I think a lot of people don't even realize that Northside has a pretty substantial kitchen. Actually, a couple.
Yeah, definitely.
They had one in the gym, whereas I think where it was cooked for a long time.
Yeah.
So you still use it, don't
you?
Yeah. Use both kitchens.
We do.
Yeah.
But the one in Hope Hall, is
that's a real deal.
Yeah,
universal kitchen.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. So
I guess you could.
Very thankful.
You could probably run a restaurant out of that kitchen, couldn't you?
Oh yeah. You could. Sure. Yeah.
It's the
it
real
is
deal.
impressive.
So is that a teaser for what's coming in Northside's future? The Northside Cafe, or
possibly? It has been mentioned several times. Like, Nancy, have you thought about this? It's a possibility. Let's just put it out there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
If that's something anybody listening would be interested in, let us know.
Yeah.
Right.
Drum up some support.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, seriously.
Come in on Sunday mornings, and instead of just coffee, have a little something to go with it.
See, I'm all about it. I want a full continental breakfast every Sunday. Let's take this Thanksgiving breakfast and make it a year-round thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully in this next year, we're going to do some collaboration. I am with you, Nancy, because we're going to try to do a garden for our community outreach program.
Yes.
And we're going to use some of those fresh vegetables in the meals that we have here on Wednesday nights and stuff.
Awesome.
So we've talked about that. And Nancy's also really excited about pickleball. She's been big
I've
in
seen
our pickleball world here.
I've seen her play.
The pickleball explosion at Northside.
Yeah,
so.
and how.
And it's funny that sport is named after a food.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a theme of your life, I guess.
I guess so.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us and getting you here. I thought we had done this before. I thought we had sat down and chatted, and Nancy told me I was crazy. I'd lost my mind. So I went to Patrick. I said, didn't we? And he goes, I think so. And then we got to look and we're like, no, we never did. I thought we had this conversation.
No.
Well, and she's in an exclusive group.
She is.
She's done the feed.
I'm flattered.
And now on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm flattered. Well, thanks for asking me. And again, hope everybody comes out for the Thanksgiving breakfast. We are really looking forward to it and invite everybody to come.
Yep, I'm still as excited as I was before.
And I'm even hungrier.
Yeah, seriously.
Although I forgot to ask her about, besides the country ham, my other favorite thing are the like half frozen little cups of orange juice that are like slushy almost, and I eat them with a spoon.
It's an orange slushy.
And I forgot to ask her if we were going to still have those or not. I guess I'll actually have to show up and find out.
Yes.
Yeah, I love those things. Those are good.
Yeah.
And we're not having communion this year.
No.
But we'll have everything else just like normal. And, we recently did communion.
That new bread, though.
That new bread.
Ooh. That hit different.
Now, that was from the Bread of Life ministry,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Massive shout out to the Bread of Life people.
Yeah, so after, 2 years?
Oh, too something too long.
Yeah,
because we had
2+
to make
years.
Had to make some changes because of COVID.
Yeah.
Once COVID hit, that changed.
Had to.
It was wafers after that.
Wafers,
so.
yeah.
Yeah. It might have been close to 3.
Which I never did make my YouTube video that I was going to do, or a video and put it on church social media, where you put all the communion wafers in a bowl, and then you pour the grape juice in, and it's like communion cereal.
Oh, we could still do that.
Get all my communion for like a couple of years in at one time.
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
We probably have some extras we can.
Yeah. Maybe I'll still have to work on that a little bit.
They probably don't get stale.
I mean, they're already stale.
I know.
They're made stale.
Styrofoam.
I know.
They're packing peanuts.
They're gonna. I mean, the people on the Artemis are like, no, this is too nasty.
Yeah.
Give us some other stuff.
We can't
That's
handle
pretty
that.
bad.
But no,
Bad.
that new bread though.
Yeah, Bread of Life people, Alicia Sanford, Hip Williams, all of your other people. Ooh, way to go, home run, y'all.
Yeah.
Way to go. We get them together with Miss Nancy, and maybe we can get some kind of bread, something for future Thanksgiving.
I'm telling
breakfasts.
you, there are possibilities here.
There are.
Homemade bread for the Thanksgiving breakfast
There's
would be
no
awesome.
telling what we could do.
Yeah.
Just try us. Well, Patrick, we got anything else? I know Thanksgiving breakfast and with the children and the youth doing the service that day is going to be a special, special day. But there was a few other things going on, and right after that, man, we get all up into Advent.
Oh yeah.
Well, we talked about the Thanksgiving breakfast and the Children and Youth Sunday, and you mentioned the Bread of Life ministry. Also on the 20th at 2:00 p.m. in the conference room, there's going to be an informational meeting about the Bread of Life ministry. So if you are a baker of breads or just interested in possibly participating in that ministry, I would attend that meeting at 2:00 in the conference room on the 20th.
Yeah, because kind of like Nancy said, she just had an interest in the kitchen as a kid.
Yeah.
Right.
So if that was you and you want to be around people that can help you cultivate your interests, this is a great ministry to do that in.
Yeah. And Alicia Sanford is leading that ministry. So if you do have questions or you can't attend that meeting, contact Alicia. Also, during the entire month of November is our quarterly mission focus, which this quarter is the coat drive. We're collecting coats, children's sizes small to extra large. We're collecting winter coats and blue or black hoodies or sweatshirts with hoods. And you can bring those up here to the church, leave them in the mission bin in the hallway or at the church office. But we're collecting those coats throughout the entire month of November. And then we will let the teachers take some of them and give them to their students that need them. And the ones that aren't taken are going to be donated to Isaac Lane.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
We're in Advent that kicks off November 27th. We are going to be going through the book Characters of Christmas. I don't know if y'all remember back at Easter, we did the Characters of Easter book. Well, this one focuses on the characters of Christmas, and we're going to be talking about different characters on Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights. So it's not going to be a small group thing. It's going to be sort of like a sermon series or a teaching series. And if you want to buy that book to follow along, read along, we're going to be selling those here at the church for $10. You can pick one up in the church office. I think you can also talk to Debbie Holmes, and she's got some extras at the welcome centers maybe. So if you want to follow along during our Advent teaching, And that's going to conclude on January 1st, I believe, with Glenn. You're going to be talking about
the wise dudes.
The wise dudes.
The wise dudes.
So that'll be good. On November 29th, the Vine Multicultural Ministry is having their Conversation Tuesday. So if you want to help volunteer for that, I know Yako's needing volunteers to help people practice their English. And I think he told me that they're setting it up like a speed dating this time, where they're gonna like.
Well, he has done some really fun stuff. A couple times ago, he did like coffee tasting.
Yeah.
Zumba.
And then Zumba was one, and then 1 month recently I think was karaoke night.
Yeah, he's done karaoke a couple of times. Yeah. It's really fun. I don't think it's not actually speed dating, but it's set up in that way where it's like you sit down and you talk to somebody for a few minutes and then you switch. Yeah. You don't have to speak Spanish. You just need to be able to speak English and be willing to talk to people.
Yeah, it really is a good time. I encourage anybody just a little bit interested to check into it.
And that's November 29th. That's from 5:30 to 7 o'clock p.m. And if you're interested, contact Yako and let him know. On December 4th and 11th, our Christmas Mission Mart is kicking up.
Yay.
So on the 4th and 11th, during church, in the lobbies, both lobbies, you'll be able to select from a lot of different organizations and good causes that you can donate money to this year in honor of someone or in someone's name, and give that to them as a Christmas gift. For the person that already has everything, it's like, what do you buy them? Well, you can donate to a lot of local ministries and other things, and you can kind of make a donation in their name as an alternative to your regular Christmas giving.
Yeah, we've done this several years. We used to, well, we still do, but not as much as we used to, but used to give to Heifer Project International, Compassion International, various things like that. But, if you want to get something for your child's teacher, and maybe you don't know what to get them, or you don't want to give them just another thing that might end up in their closet or something, whatever. Maybe you give them this gift to just say, hey, we're really glad for you, and in your honor, we gave this amount to help someone else. It's a great gift. It's a great different kind of gift too, and it's been fun when our family's done it.
And they give you a really cool little card. With a specific group that you work with, and you can give the card to the person.
And that shopping list will be posted soon, so keep an eye out for that. Also on December 4th at 6 o'clock p.m. in Hope Hall is Jingle Jam. So come get ready to sing some Christmas songs and have some hot chocolate and some cookies, play some games. Everybody's going to dress up in their Christmas attire, ugly Christmas sweaters, Santa Claus outfits, whatever.
Are they ready to release any teasers yet?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think
I wait on this so much.
I think they're holding it close to the,
that means it's going to be really good if they're holding it close.
I know. They don't want to spoil anything this year. Then the following week, December 11th at 6 o'clock p.m. is the Christmas Express, the children's Christmas musical. So that'll be good if you want to hear the kids singing and having a good old time up there.
Cool.
So make sure you come out and see that on December 11th at 6 o'clock p.m. Then the following weekend is the Christmas Cantata. On Saturday, December the 17th at 7 o'clock p.m. We'll have a performance, and we encourage people to invite everyone from the community to come out and see that so they can participate. If they can't be here on Sunday mornings or whatever, they could come on that Saturday night. Yeah. And then on Sunday morning, December 18th, we're going to have one worship service at 10 o'clock, and that'll be one performance of the Christmas Cantata. And there will be Sunday school at 9 o'clock. Before the service starts. So Sunday school at 9, and then one performance of the cantata at 10. And then we're coming up to Christmas. We'll have our Christmas Eve services on Saturday, December 24th at 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock p.m. The 5 o'clock service will be live streamed. So if you can't be here, if you're traveling, you're visiting family, and you still want to participate with the church family, make sure you tune in. Check us out on, it'll be on the app, the website, YouTube, Facebook, all that. So make sure you join us for that. And then Christmas on December 25th, I think it's on the 25th this year, is on a Sunday, and we're going to have one joint worship service at 10 o'clock. This one's going to be in Hope Hall. So on Christmas, service will be in Hope Hall. And then the following week on New Year's Day, we're going to have one joint worship service at 10 o'clock again, but this one's going to be in the sanctuary. So we're going to kind of go back and forth.
And no Sunday school on either of those.
And no Sunday school on Christmas or New Year's.
That's a lot.
I know. It's just a few things between now and the
and that's
first
just
of the year.
Big stuff. That's not like the Sunday school Christmas parties and this little group doing that and this little group doing that. Yes, that's just the big stuff.
This is the big stuff for the whole church.
It's a busy time.
So good. This doesn't include our pickleball tournaments or our
church league basketball.
That's right.
Boys retreat and there's all kinds of things.
There's a lot of stuff happening in the next month and a half. Make sure you put all that down on your calendar and try to participate in as much as you can. Celebrate the holiday season.
There's a really great slide. I think I've seen it on the morning times when it's flipping, and then also on the website that has all of those things listed. I know it's on our socials and stuff too. It's like the fourth thing if you slide over to your left.
If you get on the app and the header at the top that slides back and forth, there's a holiday schedule that lists a lot of these things right there. So you
can take a snapshot of that,
or you can just go to our events page, and most of that's on the there. Events.
Yeah, so that's very helpful.
Well, guys, thanks for podcasting with me. And thanks to all of you out there in the world for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest from us, you can follow us on Instagram at Northside Now Podcast. Go to our website, northsidejackson.com, or email us at podcast@northsidejackson.com. We hope to hear from you soon. Once again, this is Patrick.
This is Glenn.
I'm Kevin.
And that's what's happening at Northside Now.
Bye-bye.